Good evening. My name is Mike, and I'll be your tour guide for What Will I Do After SHTF? Hey, it can't be any more bullshit than some of these prepper channels, right? Ah, man. Seriously, good evening. It's my Friday. What do you expect? Wow. Crazy news today. Today was extremely busy with news. Absolutely insane. I just couldn't believe the amount of headlines that was coming out, and largely what a lot of them had to do with. Again, I really didn't know what to even name tonight's show, because again, I don't want to pull it down to one particular headline or anything like that, especially when there's so much going on. So, I know, so go with the silly name, right? I seriously hope nobody came to find out how they can share social media pictures of their dinner during SHTF, because, I mean, we could go there, but you're going to be in an intranet, so it is what it is. You know, you could be sending messages back and forth to your tribe. Hey, look! Tonight's dinner rehydrated perfectly. Anyway, yeah, I do have a bit of a dark sense of humor. So anyway, on a serious note, let me change. This thing is like hot as hell. Hang on. There we go. That feels that feels a little bit better. So we had a lot of I hate to use the word progress, but essentially that's what it is. We had a lot of progress when it comes to a lot of different stuff that came out today. A lot of progress between international tensions, a lot of progress, well, in multiple ways when it comes to COVID-19. And like I say, when I say progress, I'm not using that in a good sense of the word. Stuff is just going everywhere, and I will give a warning. I know I started out silly and stuff, forgive me for that, but tomorrow's going to be a doozy. And I hope folks are ready. When I say a doozy, I mean it's going to be a doozy. It's just a gut feeling, and I've been getting used to being pretty right on it. So I would say brace yourself. I have no idea what it could be, but I have a feeling that tomorrow's going to be significant. Lots more reports of shortages in many different areas. Especially with dollar stores like Dollar General, Dollar Tree, stuff like that. That's mainly what I'd kind of heard of today, is more the dollar stores. And it doesn't look like that's going to get any better. I'm telling you, it's messed up. So I've got some headlines that I thought were really important to mention, and I figured we'd do it at the start of the show here, because I didn't have anything else really to talk about. So like any type of prepper stuff or anything like that. Which reminds me, if there's anything anybody wants me to cover, if it is an area that I can do so, Um, you're more than welcome to put it in the comments or whatever, what it is you would like me to cover. And, pardon me, if I will, I can't. Or if I can, I will. Sorry, something like that. Sorry, I'm fighting my damn sinuses. Yeah, sometimes, this COPD, sometimes the drainage and stuff is just horrid. So that's why you see me fight all the time to keep clearing my throat and to breathe and all that good stuff. So, excuse me. So let me go ahead and I'll bring up the web browser and we'll just talk about some of the stuff that's going on here. Pretty significant things. And I did my best to kind of order them here. There's a rising tension, as you know, between the United States and Russia, United States and China. And there's also a lot of tensions between international organizations and different nations. Like NATO has really kind of had it in for Russia, to be honest. And so they came out with a headline saying NATO blames Russia for breakdown in relations as Moscow says expulsion of its diplomats has made tensions worse than in the Cold War. Now, I think it was yesterday I had brought up, once again, because it wasn't the first time, about how I felt that the situation right now is actually worse than the Cold War. I still stand behind that, and clearly others do too. We are in some concerning times, without a doubt. So this also had came out after I made the report earlier today, and apparently we had launched another test missile after the two that they claim were successful, or three, can't remember now. I think three, come to think of it. But anyway, they launched another, and for some reason, or they went to, and for some reason it failed. So, as you see the headline, U.S. hypersonic weapon test derailed by rocket failure. So I look at this and it's like, well, this is great news. You have to understand, although like China and Russia, because we'll get to that here in a moment, like China and Russia has been testing these missiles, you have to understand, they've had, fully functional units for some time now. A lot of their testing that they're doing now is for even more advanced missile systems. But they've had the hypersonic glider missile systems for some time now. It's not really new for them. It's new for us. We are still in the testing, design and testing phases. Right? So, they're talking maybe 2022. We might have our first one. And, China and Russia has been mass producing them for some time now. So, when you see them doing tests, you have to understand that's for more advanced hypersonic weapons, not base level like where we're at. Just saying. Russia fires missile capable of carrying hypersonic warheads from Europe to Asia in test of nuclear submarine in the far north. So, just to support, and these are all headlines from today, okay? So, just to support what I'm saying, what I've been saying, I mean, in my opinion, it's getting pretty clear what time it is. We are absolutely in a new arms race, a nuclear arms race. And I know that there's a lot of doubt out there that, nations would do this. The argument often is, well, it wouldn't make any sense to destroy what it is that you want to take, essentially. Are you sure they really want to take it? And how worried are they about taking it immediately? The other question I must ask is, in today's technology, not 1980, with the advent of tactical nuclear weapons, that they can actually dial in the devastation, essentially, dial a devastation missiles, we'll call them. They don't have to completely destroy a nation to be able to take out enough to be able to essentially be the new owner of that nation. And still leave plenty there. That's the whole point of tactical nuclear weapons, is to be able to do that. There is something called a MIR. Multiple... hang on. Multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles. Sorry, I had to look it up. I couldn't remember all of it exactly. And essentially what that is you have a warhead on the top of your propulsion system, your rocket. And instead of it just being one warhead, one boom, that warhead breaks up into multiple smaller warheads, and they are each separately targetable. In other words, you could open one of these up over the United States and literally just pepper all the warheads. You could pepper them across the United States. It would be easy, and when I say easy, I mean as easy as going and getting a drink of water, for one of these nations to launch, say, about 3 of those, or I should say, get 3 of those through, which wouldn't be hard with hypersonic missile technology. And you could take out enough targets in the United States to be able to make a pretty good point. That's seriously what we're looking at. And I'm not trying to fearmonger. All I'm trying to do is explain to you the reality of the situation. We are not king of the mountain anymore. We're just simply not. And there have been more than enough high-ranking officials come out and say that in different words. It's just whether or not people listen to them. They've been saying it for some time. This ain't something new, by the way, with the Biden administration. Yeah, they were actually, I can remember them talking a little bit about it during Obama. And then it continued, continually got worse, them talking about how we're falling so much further behind. And when I say them, I'm talking about likes like the Pentagon. Because they've actually been saying this stuff for some time. And then we've got this one here, which is the last one when it comes to the situation with nuclear arms and concerns involving that. U.S. has opened door to Ukraine joining NATO military bloc, Putin says, warning West could station rockets under Russia's nose. And see, this is an issue too, and I'm sure you're well aware of the AUKUS thing that's going on, to where the United States essentially is making a deal with Australia to provide them with nuclear-powered submarines. And I guess part of the deal includes basically U.S. protection. But what that really does, and what that really is for, is to give the United States just one big old, another big old landing pad in the world. And they're losing ground right now in the Middle East, and with the added increased threat from China, we have to kind of rearrange our resources, if you will. So that's essentially what's going on. And I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't see China and Russia allowing us to get really far on this. I just don't. I think they'll put a stop to it before it gets too far. And again, one possible way for that pardon me, sorry. One possible way for that to come to light would be after what they consider enough warnings, doing exactly what I was talking about. Lobbing a hypersonic in with a MIRV warhead. Yeah. If we... I don't think anybody is going to resort to the Cold War rhetoric of MAD, the mutually assured destruction. When that was a thing, it was just about who built the biggest bomb and how many of them we could build. It's not so much about that anymore. It's not about being able to wipe out the entire country with one shot. It's more of the tactical application of these weapons. And they've gotten pretty good, from my understanding. So if they could, say, wipe out a military base, destroy as little civilian population outside of that military base, while making sure they completely annihilated that military base, and all the while using nuclear weapons technology that doesn't result in a big super ton of fallout and, the super long lasting radiation. Yeah. They've got it down, not to make a pun, but they've got it down to a science. They got good at it. If you're unaware of this, I'm sorry. This is just one area that I've always kind of kept an eye on. Not only does technology fascinate me, but when I was young, when I was in, I believe, the 5th grade, yeah, 5th grade, a movie came out on television. And it was such a big deal that I can remember that the school sent home letters with the students talking about this movie and warning the parents that, hey, this movie's graphic, but it might be important for them to watch. It's up to you. And it was called The Day After, and many of you may have seen it. And I watched it, and it horrified me, which is what I'm sure the intent was. That was, I mean, it was propaganda. It was to get people to be against nuclear war, nuclear weapons. And although I'm saying it's propaganda, which is a fact, I'll stand behind that, because I think all of it's stupid. Don't you? Do you really have an issue with a Russian that you feel you need to end their life? I don't know. I mean, maybe you do. I don't. I don't have any issues with any Chinese. I don't have any personal issues with any Iranians. Nope, can't say that I do. I wish them just as much luck and peace and love in their lives as anybody else. Why would I have a problem with them? So this whole idea of killing and maiming for whatever reason, be it resources or, I don't know, power, it's not in me. I don't get the point. We can all be happy if we allow each other to be happy. Plain and simple. But see, that's just it. We have to allow each other to be happy. That's what freedom is. Freedom's not about what you get to do. Freedom's about what you will allow others to do. And I know a lot of people might disagree with that, but think long and hard about that. Anyway, that covers that end of things. We did see an uptick with information coming out involving COVID, obviously. I mean, what day haven't we for the last 2 freaking years? And some interesting stuff, I must say. I'll warn people to get ready. Hang on. Because, I don't know what's going on in these other countries. I'm not there. But some of the stuff that I'm seeing is really interesting, to say the least. And I just have to ask myself, are we going to see the same things, or at least appear to see the same things, wink wink, here? And let me go ahead and bring up the first one that I had here. Moscow to shut schools, restaurants, and non-essential shops for 2 weeks as Russia again hits grim new record for COVID-19 deaths. So I have to ask, are we headed for this here? I would say probably pretty likely at some point. Now, I don't know exactly, well, it says Moscow. I don't know if I would know even by looking at a map. Wanted to see, I guess the latitude you would call it. Okay, Moscow's up there pretty good ways, so, yeah, they definitely would be experiencing cooler temperatures right now than, say, like us. That would make sense, an increase in transmissibility and whatnot because of the cooler temperatures. I expect to see that here. One thing we have to just accept, if you haven't by now, is that COVID exists. It's a thing. And people get it. and it's highly transmissible, and it's just going to be here. And when I say people need to accept, I mean on all sides of this. Okay? We don't need to be running around chasing waterfalls, trying to say we've come up with a cure. Okay? For number one, it's not that devastating. Number one. It's not. It's horrible. A lot of people clearly experience a hell when they come down with it. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of people that's not made it. But we still have to keep it in perspective. And we can't cost a ton more life from the after effects of the measures that we take under the guise that we're trying to help. And it's becoming more and more evident that that's the road we're traveling down. I don't know. This is what's happening in Russia. In other news, other than here in the United States, as you see the headline say, YouTube, I'm reading a headline, nerve order, Guillain-Barré syndrome, added as very rare side effect for AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in the UK. Seems like I can remember a time nobody was allowed to even remotely associate the two. Huh. Who'd have thunk that? Interesting. Here on this side of the pond, Florida's Governor DeSantis is stepping up and promising legal action to ban private businesses from forcing their employees to get the jab. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, as I've said all throughout this, we're really still fresh into this. You have to realize, and I don't mean to scare the holy hell out of you here, but Biden hadn't even officially been president for a year yet. I know, right? I'm talking about inaugurated in office. I know he was elected November 3rd, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, officially in office, it hadn't even been a year yet. That's freaking scary. I mean, imagine, just think. Look at how far this country has slid since he's been in office. And I'm not blaming it entirely on him. I want to make that clear too. It wouldn't matter who was in office. They were handed a a cluster, right? What are you going to do with what you have to work with here with this nation? I mean, I'm not saying just roll it up in a ball and throw it in the trash, but what I'm getting at is it's going to take more than a day or two to fix the problems. However, it's not what's going on with the current administration. No, we're on the highway to hell in a supercharged bus. So, it is what it is. In other news on this side and other sides of the pond, it appears Fauci did fund Wuhan virus experiments, but officials insist virus involved could not have been the cause of the COVID-19 pandemic. Nah. Couldn't have been. You know why? Because he's Mr. Science, that's why. Couldn't have been him. Mr. Science and all. This is getting ridiculous. And I'm going to ask the same question I've asked before, and that is, when do the trials start? I'm not talking about the vaccine trials. No. I'm talking about Nuremberg 2.0. When does that start? Just asking for a few 100 million friends. Anyway, I mean, it's insane. It is absolutely mind-blowingly insane. And that's why I sound so much like a broken record lately when I say make sure you get ready. And that's also why I remind people about just how long this administration has had control of this country. Because when you think about the last year, it seems like it was about a term. I mean, it doesn't seem like a year. It seems like multiple years. And like I said, it's not going to get better. They're not trying to make it any better. And many would argue that it's orchestrated. And I could make a lot of agreement with that argument. Just get ready. Because again, just as a reminder, we don't have a whole hell of a lot of control over the macro. You should have every single bit of control over your micro. Just gotta act like it. Not just act like it, you gotta do it. It's gonna get interesting. Gonna get interesting. And if you really, really do feel the need to post social media photos of your rehydrated chili mac after the balloon goes up, get a hold of me. Maybe we can set you up a system. But damn it, I want to trade 1 sheep and 2 goats for doing it. I want a sheep and 2 goats for setting you up with a... I'll give you 3 access points. How's that sound? 3 access points. Since it's a sheep and 2 goats, that's an access point apiece. Yeah, we could barter that. Anyway, enough with the stupidity. I guess I'll do some headlines and get the hell out of here for the week. Sounds like a good plan. I'm sure I'll probably do report videos tomorrow, like I said, and I'll repeat, expect tomorrow to be a doozy. I've just got that gut feeling tomorrow's going to be a hell of a news day. So, let me have a couple sips of coffee before we get started. Now that it's pretty well cooled off. Oh, goodness. Fun times. Make sure you work on that winter weather preps. Hardcore. Can't urge that enough. Alright. How about I push a button, we do some headlines, and get the heck out. Alright. Got a couple from last night. First one's testing the same weapons. North Korea. North Korea denounces U.S. double standard after Washington condemns submarine missile test. And also last night, FDA approves mix and match vaccine booster shot regimen for all U.S. authorized jabs. Now you can mix and match. Aren't you excited about that? It's almost if it just doesn't even matter. Let's see. Now to the articles I shared out this morning. Washington State Patrol faces staff shortages and multi-million replacement cost as officers quit over COVID vaccine mandate. Imagine that. Who'd have thunk it? Trump announces launch of new Trump announces launch of new media group and social network to stand up to the tyranny of big tech. And you heard me right. I did call it a honeypot. And if you think it's anything different, I can't help you. I can't help you. I just literally, seriously cannot help you. At least 3 killed, 30 plus injured after massive gas explosion erupts in northern China. Russian nuclear power plant taken offline after steam leak reported. Officials say radiation levels normal and repairs underway. European businesses run risk of shutting down due to rising gas prices, the EC president warns. Central Intelligence Corporation, Twitter's Dorsey dunks on Zuckerberg's reported rebranding plans. Russia continues to add gold to the country's huge forex reserves. Iran begins air drills featuring both manned and unmanned aircraft as it complains about Zionist presence on its borders. Asylum seekers stuck on Poland-Belarus frontier for more than 2 months attempt to destroy border fence with rocks and logs. India celebrates landmark 1 billion COVID vaccinations, but millions still have yet to receive first doses. India to stockpile gas and coal to avoid future energy crunch. Moscow to shut schools, restaurants, and non-essential shops for 2 weeks as Russia again hits grim new record for COVID-19 deaths. I covered that, but I'll go ahead and reread those anyway. China condemns EU after European lawmakers resoundingly back resolution to improve ties with Taiwan. South Korean rocket launched to deploy dummy satellite in orbit is unsuccessful. Zelensky's, increasingly authoritarian, I can't even speak now. Authoritarian, I can't say it. Authoritarian, there we go. Anyway, Ukrainian leader and ruling party suffer huge drop in popularity, a poll finds. I hate when I get stuck on words like that. UK and New Zealand agreed a free trade deal. Now I can't say deal. Overcoming historic Kiwi grudge, but some question whether Britain gets enough from it. Hang on, let me have a sip of coffee. Sputnik Light is universal booster shot for COVID-19 vaccines, developer says, following FDA's approval of mix and match approach. So, I guess they're trying to get in on everybody else's turf, with theirs. It doesn't matter because, Global effort. Global effort. It doesn't matter which one you get. It's all going to be the same. Ali Harvey Ali charged with murder of Conservative MP Sir David Arness after brutal stabbing in Essex Church. China Evergrande shares plummet after $2.6 billion asset sale falls through. UK Defence Minister slams overhyped AUKUS Pact criticism, rejects claims deal damages regional that the deal damages regional stability. UK police seize zombie knives. What the hell is a zombie knife? And samurai swords after arresting 1,468 in a week in drug trafficking crackdown. Yeah. So they're like making a huge deal because people had swords and zombie knives. That's even more stupid than an assault gun, an assault rifle, an assault weapon. Zombie knife. Why didn't they just go with assault knife? I guess it sounded, well, I don't know. I don't know what sounds goofier. Let's see. Leaked documents reveal intense lobby activism by fossil fuel players to water down UN climate change report, says the media. Russia fires missile capable of carrying hypersonic warheads from Europe to Asia in test of nuclear submarine in far north. Facebook signs copyright agreement with French media after prolonged talks, paving the way for tech giant to pay for news content. States that do not play by EU rules do not get benefits of Europe, France tells Poland amid row over law primacy. Body to restart test of Russian COVID-19 vaccine following discovery of production issues. Turkey's Erdogan considers kicking out 10 Western ambassadors over calls to release jailed opposition figure Kavala, says the media. Let's see. Russia and post-Soviet allies stage major military drills near Afghan border. Man charged with MS murder plotted for years to kill a lawmaker considered himself affiliated to Islamic State, the court is told. Or the court told, one of the two. NATO blames Russia for breakdown in relations as Moscow says expulsion of its diplomats has made tensions worse than in the Cold War. A UK minister claims MPs can choose whether to wear masks after government urges public to wear face coverings. Piss off, you brats. I had to do it. I'm sorry. Rose McGowan blasts fake activism of Netflix staff protesting Dave Chappelle's transphobic special. Sorry, I had to do it. Apparently that's what she said. Just doing the news. Washington must be going mad. Nuclear-era logic of mutually assured destruction will make America safe. Chinese media boss jibes. Talked about that. Let's see. Putin says attempts by tech platforms to usurp political or state functions were short-lived and they've been put in their place. So who knows what all is going on with that, if there is anything going on with that. Welsh police station evacuated, streets closed off in Pontypridd after member of the public hands in suspected bomb. Turkey busts Mossad espionage network and arrests 15 men for spying on Palestinians and foreign students, says reports. Hundreds of Greek doctors staged 24-hour strike to protest compulsory COVID vaccination and staff shortages. capitalism has run out of steam, Putin warns that the world's existing economic model is causing huge growth in inequality globally. No shit, Sherlock. Suspect arrested after beheading of grandfather had been under psychiatric monitoring for many years, says French prosecutor. Florida Governor DeSantis promises legal action to ban private sector COVID-19 vaccine mandates. We discussed that. 13,000 turkeys to be killed on Italian farm after second outbreak of highly contagious H5N1 bird flu. Tory peer calls for new anti-obesity strategy to combat grossly overweight people. Power outage across Afghan capital Kabul after reports of explosions. U.S. Army and Navy successfully test 3 hypersonic weapons prototypes, says the Pentagon. Putin rejects Security Council veto reform and says UN would die the same day. The UN would die the same day and turn into a debate club. Fight against racism is a noble cause, but in cancel culture it turns into reverse discrimination, pushing people apart, says Putin. He's right, you know. London Music Hall bought by megachurch engulfed in child sex abuse scandal after locals oppose plan to use it as an Islamic center. Nerve disorder Guillain-Barré syndrome added as very rare side effect for AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in the UK. Again, YouTube, reading headlines. Let's see. Hungary's Orban sides with Poland and rejects EU law primacy ahead of bloc summit. Putin says teaching young children they can easily swap genders is borderline crime against humanity. Once again, he's right, you know. Trade Association president says trucking industry says they need 80,000 drivers. So get out there and drive a truck. Putin slams restrictions on RTDE as an attack on freedom of speech, but warns against any counterproductive retaliation. Massive crowds flood, and I don't know if it's Khartoum, streets as rival demonstrations are held in Sudanese capital over transitional government. Federal Reserve bans stock trading and other investments for top officials after controversies. You mean after all this time? I mean, and don't we have a bunch of government officials that we need to ban from all of this stuff too? I mean, really? Ex-employee shuts down Kansas water system while blackout drunk as U.S. ramps up fear of foreign cyber attackers. Now this happened, I think it was 2019 or something like that. This didn't happen last week. So this guy was just actually, I think he pled guilty. So he was just essentially finally charged, more or less, or not charged, but convicted. U.S. hypersonic weapon test derailed by rocket failure, says reports. Illinois parents file lawsuit against 145 school districts over COVID policies. Highland is one of them. U.S. has opened door to Ukraine joining NATO military bloc, Putin says, warning West could station rockets under Russia's nose. A Haitian gang leader claiming to have U.S. missionary hostages threatens to kill these Americans in a YouTube video. Hunter Biden sought to sell analysis of Russian businessmen Deripaska for $55,000, emails show. Huh. Imagine that. Nah. Not the president's son. Not Hunter. Get out of here. Let's see. Hero Man pages Lesko Brandon at Target, and it's glorious. And yes, it is glorious, and you must see it. You must, more importantly, hear it.
Please? Yeah. It's first name Lesko. Yep.
Last name?
Brandon.
Last name of Brandon?
Yeah.
Before, she gone, after the wraps up, before she gone, and then after.
Let's go, Brandon. Your party's waiting for you at guest service. Let's go, Brandon. Your party's waiting for you at guest.
Okay, and just in case you didn't catch that the first time.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Can you page somebody, please?
Yeah.
It's first name Lesko. Yep.
Last name?
Brandon.
Last name of Brandon?
Yeah.
Before, she gone, after the wraps up, before she gone, and then after.
Let's go, Brandon. Your party's waiting for you at guest service. Let's go, Brandon. Your party's waiting for you at guest.
That's priceless. Alright, let's see. End of capitalism, transgender kids, NATO, reverse racism, World War II, censorship, and more. What Putin spoke about at Valday. So, article about all the different things that he spoke about today. So, let's see. We covered that. Fauci did fund Wuhan virus experiments, but officials insist virus involved could not have been cause of COVID-19 pandemic. One killed on the set of Alec Baldwin's movie after prop gun misfires. Another crew member injured, says reports. And we normally don't cover entertainment type of stuff, but you know damn well how this is going to get spun. So, it's crazy. And they'll use it. They'll use anything they can get their hands on in order to take more freedoms from you. Anyway, that covers everything I've got for you tonight. I'm sure, like I say, tomorrow's going to be a doozy. I'm sure of it. I'm sure I'll have, report videos out. And if anything too stupid happens, I'll go live as long as it's before Shabbat starts. So, anyway, I am going to get out of here. I hope you all have a good evening. Hope you all have a good weekend. And we'll hope to see you on Sunday night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.